Despite all of the things that have happened and all of the things that Kanye West has done, people still find some way and somehow to make excuses for his behavior. If it took this recent incident for you to unstand him, that means that you are part of the problem. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So what's going on, you all? I want to talk about Kanye West. I do not like talking about him. I honestly have been staying away from all of his antics recently because he is more than just a troll. I think it's important for us to name what he is because men like him are able to just throw out so much disgusting things, like so many disgusting things that we just accept them as a troll and we still allow them access to places. He has been like this for a minute. And for the few people or how many other folks are left who are still finding excuses for him, talking about his mother being gone, that's no excuse no more. There are so many people with less resources and less access to things who have lost loved ones and who are not doing things like this. For Kanye West to have as much access and influence as he has, he should be very careful and mindful of the things that he is saying. And the fact that he doesn't care makes him a dangerous person. It's beyond just shock value. It's beyond just attention seeking. It is beyond just that, because I feel the way we try to word this and say that he seeks attention, like everything he does is attention seeking. For people who have saw him do these things, but still have participated in purchasing Yeezys and still supporting him in other type of ways, you're part of the problem, and I hate to say it. Although this is disgusting, it's also deeply dehumanizing. And it's sad considering that he was once these people's friends. For those who do not know, Kanye West took to Twitter and made some very nasty comments about Beyonce and Jay-Z's children. And I have a lot to say about that because as much as I'm disgusted by Kanye West, I feel like we need to put the mirror on a lot of ourselves in this moment. A lot of us need to take a look in the mirror and how we uphold and perpetuate this type of ideology, this type of culture, and how we look at people with disabilities, how we treat folks like this. Although we might not be saying this about children online, the culture is still there. The fact that we have so many people actively right now trying to point out that it isn't true goes to part of the problem, if I'm being completely honest. How we look at people with disabilities, how we look at children with disabilities, and how we still use the R word. We've seen a recent uptick of the R word to describe really something that we shouldn't be using anyway, but the things that it's being used for. Why? And when people have pushed back and said, hey, don't say that word around me, people have responded and said, y'all are sensitive. Y'all are very sensitive. We can't say anything now. All of that response, every time you say things like that, well, we can't say anything now. We can't do anything. We all sensitive. We got to be careful about. You are Kanye West. If I'm being frank, to be honest. Like, if I'm being honest, a lot of folks may not be on that type of level. And the reasons why you probably are not is because you don't have that type of influence and that type of power like Kanye West. You're not a millionaire or billionaire, but you still have the same ideology. It might not be as big, but it's definitely there. And it's in a lot of us. And we need to be erasing it. We need to, if we're sick of seeing things like this, we got to do more. That's why I'm no longer interested in this agree to disagree rhetoric. I am not agreeing to disagreeing on stuff. Like, I'm not doing that with y'all, especially right now in this day and age with this administration and all of the things that are happening, all of the things that we are seeing and how people are actively participating in it, whether they want to admit it or not, how we have agreed to disagree and allowed folks to push back any notion of progressive ideology. This is too woke. The very joke that is happening on social media about the friend that is too woke is dangerous rhetoric, if I'm being honest. Everything needs to be thought about. Everything needs to be thought about and challenged, if we're being honest. Because that is how we get stuff like this. Kanye West saying this stuff is not just out of nowhere. It's because he understands what it looks like. Because of how we look at things like this. How we do that. How we treat people with disabilities, whether they're children or full-grown adults. How we don't see them as human. How we other them. Let me say this personally. This is me personally. I am not interested in proving that it's true or not true. Because I saw some folks coming to me asking, is it true or is it not true? It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if they are or if they're not. It does not matter to me. What matters to me is that it being used point blank, period. Regardless. That's where we should be at. We shouldn't be defending in a way to say it's not. We should be defending and calling that type of culture out, that thought out, point blank, period, and how ableist it is. That's what we should be saying. And if what Kanye West said makes you feel a certain type of way, and it should, we need to be looking at how we allow folks to participate and say things like that. Every time that we participate and laugh in jokes about people like Shamar, because I'm talking about disabilities, period. I'm talking about ableism, period. That culture of laughing at Shamar and making fun of how he walks and stuff is part of that too. Because Shamar was once a child. He was once a baby. It makes me think about how we respond and talk about Republicans in their crusade for abortions, making it illegal. How they do not care about children being born or being born into poverty. They just do not care because when they become adults, they don't care. We do that same thing. That same thing perpetuates in different type of things. And I feel like this is one of them. Because if you are turned off by somebody doing it with a child, you should also be turned off by somebody doing it to an adult. You should be turned off by that too. So we can't say that this is wrong when it's a child, but then we participate and laugh at it when it's a full-fledged adult, when it's a grown person. Like, you see how that works? When I first talked about it, I just really did a rant on it on Patreon. And I got emotional in that video because it took me back to how Blue Ivy was treated, how people made jokes about her hair not being combed. Karrueche Train was on, I don't know if it was a BET or something, and made a joke about Karrueche's hair not being combed. She read off of teleprompter, of course, but she still joked about it and how folks made comments about Blue. I was disgusted by it because it just reminded how much we do not like that type of hair, how we're disgusted by that type of hair texture, and how people discussed and critiqued Blue Ivy, and it was just unnecessary. It took me back to that. And I don't blame Beyonce and Jay-Z for not sharing pictures of their children, regardless. I don't blame them. Because if we're being honest, if we're really going there, how the very notion of someone being disabled or having any type of disability, how they are other, how they are grotesque and how they are undesirable. That's how we look at it. Watching the conversation and how folks are talking about it and engaging in it, it's just reminding me how focused we are on beauty and the politics of beauty, the politicalness of ugliness, like all of the things. And yeah, I just completely just turned off by it. It was just very emotional seeing the responses to it. But Kanye West has been like this for a minute. And even in this moment, you seeing people saying that, hey, he has lost his mother and I can only imagine how lonely he is. That man is not lonely. If he is lonely, it's because he chooses to be lonely. Stop that. Stop that. Stop saying and making excuses and coddling him. Y'all do not do that same thing for everybody else. I did not see a mass coddling of other people who have experienced harm. I didn't see that. You didn't see that with Megan Thee Stallion. You all only give that to men. A lot of times we only give that to men. We allow them to be these things. we allow them and give them grace for stuff that they don't even deserve grace for. Stuff that they don't deserve grace for. We're seeing that same thing right now with Jonathan Majors, while he's crying on Sherri Shepherd's show after Sherri Shepherd was on her show dragging Megan Thee Stallion for having pasties on. Sherri Shepherd saying all that and then inviting somebody who, girl, literally in the text messages, we see him talking about the things that he's done, the unearthed audio that we heard recently, and that episode's still airing. I do not care if Sherri Shepherd filmed that 2 months ago. Honestly, the only reason why Jonathan Majors is on this show is to promote and restructure his brand and his image. He has no big projects coming out right now, but this is how it works. You go on these shows, these folks pick you to go on these shows, and your publicist, hey, you're doing these rounds to promote something. Jonathan Majors is trying to restructure his brand so he can get back into the good graces of the public. He wants his public image to be better. And Sherri Shepherd allowed herself to be used in this moment. You're nobody's Wendy Williams, sister. In the last 2-3 months, you have spent a couple of your segments on your show hitting women on the hand, doing these things, and then allowing somebody like a Jonathan Majors to sit on your couch or your chair and talk like, are you okay? I know you're glad to have a seat at the table and glad to be recognized, but girl, at what point does it like mean something? Like you have virtually like you have kind of like sold yourself for what? For a TV show that they will cancel the moment they realize they don't have the budget for it no more and you ain't bringing in the numbers? Like, y'all can't be serious. Y'all can't be serious. So yeah, even though I'm talking about Kanye West, all these things apply. All these things apply. And we got to pay attention to these people who we are surrounding. We got to pay attention like, hey, is these the people that you want to stand? Are these the people that you want to support? Because as much as folks joke about cancel culture and saying, oh, cancel, who has been canceled? Who has experienced it? Because Jonathan Majors, for the most part, people thought he was, and where he's at, still getting camera time, still getting attention. Amber Rose just did a whole interview with Shannon Sharp, tap dance. Who else did he interview? Andrew Schultz, who has no reason to be on Shannon Sharp. Like, these are the people we stand, these are the people we out here supporting. The same thing we did with Kanye West. We allowed them to keep pushing. While we talking about Trump, steady pushing and seeing how far he can push the executive branch, how far he can push it. That's what these celebrities, how far can I push? What can I do? We allow these folks to continuously be trash, and then we find ways to justify why we still consume them. Oh, they're good artists. It's just music. I can separate. Exactly. That's exactly the point. So Kanye West, I don't care. I don't own a pair of Yeezys, and I'm not going to be on the internet defending why I'm wearing Yeezys. Like, I'm not going to be doing that. Why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm just irritated by it. But yes, like Kanye West, those tweets, they were so bad that he deleted them. I want people to think about that. They were so bad that he deleted them. He had to delete them. They were so bad that he had to take them down. They were so bad that he had to take them down. I'm gonna be completely honest. As much as folks talk about the power of Jay-Z and what he is able to do, I would like to see it. I would like to see it. Because, baby, the way, if something was to pop off, get one for me. Get one for me.
I'm just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
Period. Because this right here, no ma'am. Absolutely not. And what bothers me is now these children have been introduced into the conversation, and you're going to see people try to prove that they're not and prove that they are. Because Kanye West has a big, enormous platform. Enormous. And now it is a part of the conversation, and you will have very disgusting people come out and make fun because they are fans of Kanye West. And we can get into the parasocial relationship of it all, and again, how dangerous it is, because there are fans of Kanye West, who it doesn't matter what he does, even if they don't believe in it, they support him because they are having this parasocial one-sided relationship to this artist that hasn't even put out any good music in a long time. But we've been here before. Same case, different scenario, in the words of Keke Palmer or whatever she said. Those are my thoughts. Take that how you want. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.